And oh, by the way, The Last Dance, just to educate everybody, because The Last Dance was on ESPN, I spoke to former ESPN executive Connor Shell. Great man, great friend, great for the network. We miss him. Connor Shell, who had everything to do with producing The Last Dance. The Last Dance was recorded in 1998. Andy Thompson, the brother of Michael Thompson, the uncle of Klay Thompson, worked for the NBA for years and obviously followed Michael Jordan around for a year. That was with the Bulls' consent and Michael's consent and the players' consent. And then they got interviewed 2 to 3 years ago before The Last Dance. Everybody signed off on it. And all of a sudden, that's Jordan's fault too? So looking at all of these things, all of these things, the most egregious part about this is what was written in the New York Post. Last comment. When Pippen said, quote, Pippen said, quote, I regret not giving my condolences to Michael Jordan at the passing of his father. His father passed away after the first three-peat. So you had year one without Michael Jordan, year two, you had the 3 years you were with him for the second three-peat to express your condolences. You never did it. Michael Jordan never even thought about that until he saw it.
Yeah.
And then he realized, wait a minute.
That was intentional.
You didn't give me condolences on purpose. I didn't even think about this. He's crossed the line. Him and Jordan, it's over. Take it from me. It's over.
There's a lot right there. Wendy, I want to give you an opportunity to respond.
First thing I'm going to say is it's really, really hard to win in the NBA. It gets reminded to us all the time. These two men are held as the gold standard of championship teammates. And we just heard what Stephen A. said, and it's not the first time they've not spoken with each other in a while or been at odds with each other. This may be the worst, but this is not the first time. Now, I was not a teammate with Michael Jordan. I didn't know Michael Jordan in the 90s. I didn't know Scottie Pippen in the 90s, but I do know Scottie Pippen a little bit now. He was my teammate here at ESPN. And we talked about things, about his tenure with the Bulls and about how he's seen. And this is the thing you have to understand. There's nuance here to this, Stephen A. Scottie Pippen can be wrong about not coming into that game in 1994. And in my view, he can be very wrong, having the opportunity 25 years later to apologize for it and doubling down on it. That can be wrong. He can be delusional about certain things. But he does, I can understand why he is upset when he watches The Last Dance and he sees the migraine featured and he sees, the not coming into the game. He sees Jordan kicking him even though he wasn't on that team. He sees the issues with him not having the, delaying the knee surgery in 1997, basically as what Jordan said was a protest for not getting his contract redone. He sees those things highlighted and in his opinion doesn't feel that his greatness was highlighted. And this is the thing that you get to know when you hear from Scottie Pippen. It's not that he doesn't have the ultimate respect for Michael and appreciate everything. He just feels like there were times in his career he got short shrift. He feels like he got short shrift in The Last Dance. He feels like he got short shrift with his contract. And Stephen A., you are correct. Reinsdorf did tell him that. Absolutely. But Scottie still hurts to this day that when they were winning the titles, he was the 6th highest paid Chicago Bull. He still feels that. And so you're going at him on a visceral level. So I don't think everything he's done is correct. I don't think all of his opinions make sense to me. But I understand why it was hurting with The Last Dance. And that explains why he lashed out in this book.
Wendy, let me be very clear. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a point to gripe about when he points out those things. But you do have an obligation to look at yourself. Like, for example, he's somebody that felt that he should have gotten more money. But it's important to remember, Jordan wasn't getting the money from Reinsdorf either. It wasn't like Reinsdorf could have easily went to Jordan and ripped up his deal. Did Reinsdorf ever do that for Michael Jordan? Did that ever happen? Despite all the money that Jordan was bringing in to the Bulls organization, despite all the money that he was generating for the NBA and especially for the Bulls, WGN wouldn't exist. We wouldn't give a damn about it if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, okay? Reinsdorf didn't rip up his deal. Jordan had to wait until his contract expired. Now, we glossed over it because Jordan made so much money off the court. But the bottom line is that was his marketability. He deserved to be the highest paid every year. Reinsdorf never once blinked at the notion of ripping up the contract to renegotiate with Michael Jordan. So if you don't renegotiate with Michael Jordan, why would you renegotiate with Scottie Pippen? And to tell Pippen that to his face, don't sign it. Who gets that? I went for contract negotiation. You've been in contract negotiations with it. When somebody say to us, look, don't sign, it's a bad deal. You'll get more money next year if you don't sign
You
this.
seem to do better than me.
Don't do it, okay? But that's what Reinsdorf did for this man. The migraine. The foot surgery that you delayed. Why was that relevant? Because it was about the last dance, the last season, when Jerry Krause, the GM, God rest his soul, told Phil Jackson, I don't care if you go 82-0, y'all ain't coming back next year. And they said, yo, this is it for us. And you delayed your foot surgery on purpose? Listen, it's the last dance. What is wrong with Jordan pointing that out, especially when it was all filmed 20 years ago, and you knew about it when you did the interview 3 years ago or 2 years ago? It's like, wait a minute, Scottie Pippen, I understand this brother is one of the greatest. Anybody that knows anything about basketball, we don't just respect him, we revere his greatness. But to do this damn near 30 years later, when you're writing a book, it's like, damn, man. It's damn. That's all you can say.
Stephen A., both things can be true.
I agree.
His actions and his opinion of the documentary can be flawed, and he also can be hurting. And I can tell you, sitting in rooms and talking to Scottie about his career, sitting in rooms and talking to Scottie about in the current NBA, there were times where I felt incredible depth and empathy for him, and times I thought, I don't even know what you're talking about. But what you're seeing here in this book is a hurting man.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.